This maybe looks a little bit more complex than what it actually is, but what it is, it's basically replacing every Bitcoin indicator with one simple answer. And I know the title of this video might sound a little bit more clickbaity than it needs to be, right? Like something with AI replaced every Bitcoin indicator or whatever. Truth is, of course, it has my own input. It has my experience as well. If I would know nothing about crypto, about Bitcoin, about indicators, I was not able to build this. But I do want to show you that how I look at things and how I visualized it and how I made it a lot easier. That's exactly where AI came into play, because this indicator right here is giving me the answer that I think everybody in crypto is looking for. So in this video, I want to show you exactly how I built this. Now, first off, what is it exactly? I will show you, but it's basically looking at multiple Bitcoin indicators for major tops and bottoms, 31 different indicators actually, and it's analyzing all of them. Then it's ranking them, and then it's giving me a top 5 with an outcome of where we are right now. 0 by 100 is sell. And based on what exactly, I'll show you. This is going to be insanely interesting. So how I came up with this idea was because of this. There's a new, well, not new really anymore, but Claude Opus 4.8, right? And it has a new feature, which are workflows. And workflows, I'm not going to explain it too much. I bet you have seen it. If not, look it up. It's amazing, really. I love it. As long as you don't use Opus 4.8 for every agent, then you're like done for the rest of the week. But what I thought was a pretty cool feature about workflows was the tournament. The tournament is basically you give you give Claude a task, you give it something to research, and it's going through multiple agents with all their own context. Then you have individual unbiased answers. Then it's going to a next round where you have judges. They're also fresh context, no bias, no token hallucination or token, redundancy, hallucinations, anything like that. Excuse me for my English. Then it's going to the final round, and there's one synthesizer basically that looks at the entire outcome, and it's just double checking it, making sure that everything looks fine, and then there is a clear winner. And the benefit of this is if you have a big task and you're going to do it with one agent, the problem is it's going to be super expensive, of course. It's going to take very long, but also at a certain point, it's not going to be accurate anymore because one, it starts to hallucinate, and two, it starts to create a bias. Right? It already has an answer from somewhere, and you probably notice that if you work with AI, it often says, "But look at this, look at this, look at this. You asked me for this before, but this. Like, yeah, I know about that. Shut up now." Like, that's not like it starts to develop a bias, and that's not what you want. If you have like 80 different agents or something, then you don't have that problem, and you're really getting the best answer. So that's exactly what I did with this indicator or indicators right here. So to give you a little context and to show you how I have made this, and I created this page for it, but it's basically very simple. So the first thing where it started for me, let me not make this too long. Where it started for me is I look at Bitcoin, for example, and I see the Bitcoin price, right? And I'm like, okay, is it the bottom? Is it the top? Is it somewhere in between? Is it whatever, right? I want to know when to buy, when to sell, when to do nothing. There are multiple indicators that I can look at. One is, for example, this purple line is the cost of production. It's simply what it costs for a miner to mine a Bitcoin. And if it's more expensive to mine it than what they're getting for it, then why would these miners sell, right? It makes sense. So therefore, it kind of acts like a floor as well. And then again, you don't want to rely on just one indicator because there's always an invalidation point for something. And if that happens to be on the one that you rely on with your dear life, then you're wrecked. So I'm looking at multiples. I'm like, man, how could we make this easier? So then again, I was looking at this tournament right here and I was like, that's the answer. So I was using this for all the indicators. So to show you, what I did is I first basically, so that's the why, right? What was my problem? Then I had to collect the data. So I have APIs from my project itself. I'm getting them from CoinGlass or CoinMetrics. I'm getting them from the Fred, from Binance, wherever you can get it. You can get it from CoinGecko. You have to have the data, right? That's something like you can talk to it like, hey, look it up, look it up, look it up. Not gonna work. You need data, you need endpoints, right? Then we have to build the whole data pack, turns it into raw feeds, into a bias-free evaluation data set, full series, pivot readings, evidence text for the AI agents, right? So they know when did it top, when did it bottom, and what happened with these indicators at that time. Then I ran the tournament. So I didn't start building it yet. My problem with AI was often like I build and I research and I do it all at the same time and I'll see where it lands. And no, you should really first make sure that you have the data, you have it researched, and then if your knowledge base or wherever you store it is okay, then create the visuals. Otherwise, you're gonna get lost and you're not gonna follow it anymore. So that's what I did. I ran the tournament. All right, so I asked Claude, like, hey, here you have 31 indicators. Here you have the Bitcoin price. Here you have the Bitcoin price history. Now research it. And what it does, it looks at every indicator with a specialized agent for it. So, for example, the risk wave, there's an indicator that I created myself. What it does, it looks at what did this indicator top or mark at the top of the market and at the bottoms of the market, right? So it's from 0 to 100. 0 is super oversold. You should buy, right? And 100 is like extremely overbought, sell. 2013 was 99%. That's crazy. 2017 was 99. 2021 was 74. Bottoms, 4%, 3%, 2%. So example, like at the bottoms, it's spot on, right? So now it says what it's signaling today, why it is ranked here. So also the explanation made me realize like, hey, Claude understands it after all the training that we did for it, right? Again, I didn't start building after a couple days until I really was sure that it had the right training and knowledge for it. It says it is an exceptional, near flawless bottom indicator and a good but my English top color. It nailed this, that, all of that. It gives you all the information that you need. And it also looks at the caveats and the redundancies, right? So it is an unbiased agent, right? I'm not going to tell a single agent like, hey, look at this. It was good at the tops, wasn't it? No, I'm just saying, look how it does against the tops and the bottoms. You figure it out. I'm not going to bias you, right? So it did that for all the indicators. So that's how I ran the tournament. And then I had to create the design. So I saw this post and I was like, this is kind of also how I want to display it. So very simple. What I did is I took a screenshot. And what I then did is I went to Cloud Design and I told Cloud Design about my ideas. And I think this is it. And I gave it a screenshot. It wasn't it. Nah, it wasn't it. It doesn't matter. I gave it a screenshot and I said, you know what? Build me a mock-up for this, right? Build me something that's displaying the workflow that we just ran in this kind of way, right? Visualize our workflow because I was basically building it for myself to test indicators. And this wasn't one-shotted, really. But it was pretty close, actually. And I was looking at it and I was like, this is pretty good. So I posted it on my platform right now on the alphafactory.io. There's a link down below if you want to see it. So let me show you what it now exactly did. So let me refresh this. So if you're going to play this tournament, what it's going to do, it's going to look at 31 indicators. It's going to the analyst first, together with the Bitcoin price and the history from 2013. Again, for every indicator, there's one agent that ranks that indicator unbiasedly, right? It just ranks how does it do at the top, how does it do at the bottom, what's the accuracy, everything of that. Then what's happening, it's going to round 2. There are three more judge agents. We have a judge for the tops, for the bottoms, and just a robust, like overall, basically. These agents are letting 17 indicators through, right? Like they're gonna cut a lot out. Like, okay, which ones are the best in here? Then it's going to a new round, which I added to it myself. Like, this is not from the original tournament idea, but I was like, you know what? Certain indicators, they are pretty much the same, right? And that's the whole thing. Like with crypto, for example, but apply this to whatever you want. Some things are a little redundant, right? And I figured, like, okay, we don't want signals to be stronger or weaker than they actually are. Right. So, for example, right here, it says that the NUPL and the MVRVZ, they are really similar. If you can see it, it's 0.991 out of 1. Then it looks, okay, which one is stronger, right? So it's going to take out the redundant indicators. Then it's going through the synthesizer. It's one agent that ranks the 10 survivors into a top 5, right? And then this is the list that we are getting. So we have researched every indicator based on full history, completely, independently, unbiasedly. We filtered it down to what is actually the best. Then we took out what was overlapping with each other. And now we have a top 5 with different type of indicators, which are all the best at what they do. And these 5 are going to look at what is the score right now from 0 to 100. This is pretty cool. Then if you scroll down, I'm making this deeper and deeper, you can see the blue line, that's the score, right? And the white line is the Bitcoin price. Now, for me, I'm like, okay, below 20, if you DCA over there, that's dollar cost averaging, then that's a pretty decent zone. So what I then did is, okay, we have the current scores 14. So I checked like, okay, what is the prior top here? What's the prior top here? What's the prior top here? Cool. What are the prior tops on average? And what are the prior bottoms on average? And now I can kind of put it in perspective, right? Now I can say like, okay, it's 14. The average top or the average bottom is 7. And it's always up to the user, like, okay, do I want to wait for it to go 7 with the risk that it never gets there? Or is this close enough for me to already say, like, okay, I'm going to get in right now? For me, it's second. But that's always depending on your strategy, right? That's not even really that relevant. And then I created some kind of simulator to it. So what if I bought, for example, $25 worth of Bitcoin every week when the score was below, let's say, 25, right? If you want to take a little, spare change right there. Then what it does, it looks like, okay, the historical median is 234 days, right? So based on the entire history that we have, 234 days, it stays below 25. Cool. We can also see that now 96 days are already passed. So based on history, and that's not a prediction, right? That's just historical averages. We still have 138 days to go in this zone. Could be, of course, more or less, very likely more or less. We can also turn it around and I say, I have $5,000 in total. What if I want to invest that, right? In that case, $250 per week, right? About 20 weekly buys across 138 remaining days, medium based, right? So now I know a little bit like, okay, I know that I can see in the future. I know that I cannot time a bottom, which is or isn't already here. All I know is I have a very good average based on the most top-notch, divided, unbiased indicators that have pretty much never been wrong. And in my opinion, for crypto, that's the way to go, right? Now I can really visualize and make a plan for myself. And then there's also the pass buy zones, right? So, for example, in 2014 up to 2016, that's this period right here, probably. Sorry, here, this period right here. What if you bought right there? Cool, you can see. And how long did it stay there? 350 days. Cool. So, what would have I put in? $1,250. What was the result after a year, after 2 years, after 3 years? Right. That's how I can kind of, you know, get to the point where I want to go. This is one of the use cases that you can apply to whatever you are trying to build with Claude. And in crypto itself, a lot of people are skeptical for this. Oh, you let AI predict the market. You cannot do that because now Trump is doing things or whatever. That's not the point. I'm not letting AI do anything. I'm making sure that I don't have to spend months on stuff manually that I can also automate with AI. The only difference is it's faster, it is unbiased, and it's dynamic. So if I wake up today, hopefully, or tomorrow, um, and I'm like, "Ooh, this indicator, I need to look at it." In a week, I'll probably forget it, right? And this way, I know that, hey, I can click it, I can see it right here, right? The knowledge is here, it's unbiased. I'm not letting it decide for me. I'm just looking at the averages. Right now, there are so many different ways you can use workflows for. Let me see if this is still here. So there is one little example that I want to give about workflows that I also used for my project, which I think is amazing. And this is what you can do for your project as well. Again, this is also crypto specific, but it doesn't matter. Look at what I tried to do right here. So what I did is I looked at my platform and I was like, man, I have so many cool things. I have a lot of cool charts. But I feel like, man, I have all these APIs that I'm paying for, that I have a subscription for to get this information. Is there something that I am not using that I should use? Right? Again, I can put everything on my site, but what's the purpose of that, right? So what I did was the following. I had 69 indicators on my platform, apparently. Nice, 69 is cool, right? But how did I know? Was I reading like there? No, I said to Claude, run a workflow to see what we already have on our platform, right? Usually you already have some kind of a knowledge base or something, but if you look at my project folder, like a lot of files. I think around 600,000 or something like that. Oh, I'm such a bad example. But I asked like, hey, what indicators do we already have? Can you spawn a team of haiku agents using a workflow to research that? Right. And again, it's very important that if you use something like this, that you say use haiku agents, because for just reading your code base, you do not need Opus for that. If it's just a matter of collecting data, then that's fine. This, as you can see, this cost me 4 million tokens already. This was mostly haiku. Okay. So yeah, you don't want to, do that on Opus. So it looked it up and it put it all in one document. Then the next step of that workflow is I said, then after that, spawn a bunch of agents that look at the websites where we have APIs or the websites where we can get a free API or whatever, with the things that we do not have yet, right? So make sure that the knowledge that you got from round one of what we already have is included in the next round, right? Otherwise, it's going to come up with everything we already have. So it looked at CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, CoinGlass, Fred, Blockchain.com, Mempool, DeFi Llama, Binance, all of it. Then what it did, and it did that with 12 Sonnet agents on a web search. Then spawn another round with 6 Sonnet agents, because we now know what we have and we know what's out there, what we can grab. So we know where the gap is, right? So then I had a round of 6 Sonnet agents that were coming up with ideas like, okay, you can put this in, you can put that in, you can build this or that with it. All categories, right? Every agent got its own category. and it came up with 33 raw ideas. Cool, but that's not enough, right? This is, well, enough ideas, but it's not enough data. It's not enough for the workflow. So then what we did is we spawned 60 haiku agents that were looking at these ideas. 24 ideas entered a 5-round Swiss tournament. Every single match was its own cheap haiku agent scoring 2 ideas head to head against a fixed Rubik. So that's basically a tournament within a tournament. It's kind of crazy how this was going, but this is, in my opinion, the very best way to do it. Then we had a couple of winners there. How? Well, we used another 10 Sonnet agents to say, give me your top 10, right? And they came up with the eventual outcome. Well, after the actual verified recommendation, and the one fell off right there as well. So then, after all that research, we had 24 ideas, 5 rounds, and there was eventually one verdict. The haiku tournament crowned the flashiest ideas. The Sonnet verifiers checked each one against genuinely free data and demoted the winners for relying on paid, unverified APIs, because I only, again, want to work with what I have. This is eventually what it came up with. A real rates regime map, altcoin brev heat map, DXY headwind/tailwind gauge. Right? For those who are not in crypto, they're like, what? Is that Chinese? Yeah. Also, where we can get the API from. This one is unverified. This one is on CoinGlass, but I have that. CoinGlass, but I have that. So it gave me a list with 9 ideas. Now, if you're in crypto and you develop, you feel like, I'm going to steal it. That's fine. But this is especially for the project that I already have where the big gaps are sitting. Right, so this is how I mostly use workflows in Claude. And this is helping me like so much. And this is just one way to run a workflow. I have a lot more than I'm going to show you in the next videos, but I just want to show you literally what I am building with Claude, because I notice that most people on YouTube, if they talk about this, they maybe show you in Claude itself, like how they run it. And that's fine. I want to do that as well. But they never really show you an outcome. Like it's all a little too theoretical for my likings. And yeah, here you can actually see the result of it, right? And I can go in depth, and that has to be a longer video, but not to waste more of your time. This is how I did it. Let me know down below what you think of it for the 18 people that are on this channel right now. If there's anything else that you want to see, if not, too bad, 5 more, it's coming. For now, thanks for watching. Vibe safe. See you next one.